Apple's store on Fifth Avenue in Midtown Manhattan in New York City is one of the most iconic stores in the world. Even if you haven't personally been to New York, you must have seen the store's iconic glass cube-shaped entrance on various marketing materials. And in the news in this video, we will explore the history of Apple's Fifth Avenue store and look at why it has become such an iconic landmark design. And negotiation of the Fifth Avenue Apple Store is actually on and beneath a public plaza in front of the General Motors building. The glass cube houses the entrance staircase and the lift, while the whole store is located underground beneath the plaza. The General Motors building and the plaza was built in 1968 when the previous Savoy Plaza that occupied the space was demolished. Harry Macklowe purchased the General Motors building in 2003. One of his first plans was to modify his property was to monetize the large plaza on Fifth Avenue. The funny thing was that back then, architects and industry insiders called the place a problematic plaza. This was because the plaza was a large unused space with an unused basement, and Manhattan is known for its limited and precious real estate. But Harry Macklowe thought differently. He saw the space as the perfect spot for a very unique store location. In fact, not just any store. Harry was set on bringing one particular company to the Plaza Apple. He was very persistent on the idea of Apple opening a store in the space, basically chewing on the ear of an Apple vice president of real estate at the time. About it, he finally got a meeting with Apple CEO Steve Jobs in November 2003. He managed to convince Steve Jobs to open an Apple store in the unused plaza on his property. And not just any store. Apple would be opening a flagship store that would be open for business 24/7. That meeting was attended by several architects and designers, including Bolden Zawinski Jackson. Jackson had previously designed the Soho Apple Store. Steve Jobs pitched the idea of a 40-foot glass cube at the center of the site, while Macklowe wanted a glass pavilion close to the street. Jobs and Macklowe initially disagreed on the design. Thought Steve's idea for a 40-foot glass cube wasn't a viable option. It would be too large for the site and also break zoning restrictions. He wasn't able to convince Steve with words. So he used another approach. He had a mock-up of the 40-foot cube constructed in the late night on the Plaza. Apple executives viewed the structure at 2 a.m. on the cover of Darkness. They agreed the cube was too large, and Macklowe was right. Macklowe then ordered the first mock-up structure to be dismantled, which revealed a 30-foot cube within the first cube. Apple executives approved of the second mock-up of the store, was then developed in secret, and a prototype model was quietly built in a warehouse near the Apple campus in Cupertino, California. Fifth Avenue store opens its doors on the Fifth Avenue Apple Store, opened its doors to the public for the first time on May 19, 2006. At the time, it would be Apple's 147th store, even though there were concerns about the store not performing very well. It blew everyone's expectations when the sales numbers came in for the store's first year. The Fifth Avenue Apple Store had on average generated sales of $1 million per day in its first year. That was completely mind-blowing at the time. First renovation of the Fifth Avenue Apple Store got its first retouching and renovation in 2011. In June, Apple began a 5-month renovation of the store. The renovation would cost Apple about $6.7 million for the renovation, simplified the store's glass cube entranceway. Previously, the store's glass cube entranceway was made from 90 panels. The renovation simplified this glass structure to be made from just 15 panels of glass. The renovation also saw some retouching and minor changes to the surrounding plaza. The store didn't change much on the inside, though. But throughout these changes, Apple maintained the unique look of the Fifth Avenue Apple Store. Was known for its second renovation from 2017 to 2019. Apple closed the main Fifth Avenue store as they began reconstruction on the site. This renovation was on a much larger scale as compared to the last renovation. Luckily, Apple managed to keep its presence in the area. Even though this particular store has closed, the FAO Schwartz store in the GM building right next to the Apple store was available to rent. So Apple moved its store to this new space inside the building. The renovation and reconstruction of the store involved plans to double the store space. They also raised the ceiling of the store by digging deeper into the ground. There were also other significant changes made to the store. Apple spared no expense to make their most famous store a talk of the ages. How the current store looks like the most exciting thing added to the store building was the addition of 62 circulars. Frosted skylights were added to the plaza area. These skylights bless the underground plaza with natural light from above. This added more openness to the store's ambience. On the store ceiling's new tunable white LED were added that would automatically move between warm and cool tones based on the time of day to make everything feel more natural to both sides of the cube. Apple added 18 new contraptions called sky lenses. These were shiny metal seats that also happened to provide a bird's eye view down into the store, so people in the plaza can look down and watch everything happening in the underground store. Apple's infamous cube entrance was also redone, but Apple also decided to add a new entrances to the store. Even with the new entrances, the most popular customers use is the main entrance with a spiral staircase that is completely made from stainless steel. Previously, this staircase was made from glass. The Apple Fifth Avenue experience with the latest iteration of the iconic Apple Store designers decided to go with a more community space vibe for the store. They started with planting a lot of trees and foliage throughout the store to give a fresh look. The plants give the space a more natural and refreshing look presently. The store also has huge displays with seating arrangements for presentations and classes. Some of the walls are entirely covered with vegetation, and benches placed next to them for customers. Customers can sit here and charge their phones via wireless chargers. Apple is going for a whole campus and community shopping experience. There are no checkout lines instead. A store rep will come to you and check you out on his iPad. Apple even allows customers to check themselves out via the App Store. Apple just doesn't want this store to sell products, but also sell the Apple experience itself, so customers keep coming back for it. This is why you will see things like a special experience room where Apple showcases how their products and services work together, and special classes and presentations about new things Apple is doing. You will also see this philosophy resonates in how the Apple Store at Fifth Avenue operates. The store employs 900 people, most of whom are bilingual. The team collectively speaks about 36 languages ever since Apple's Fifth Avenue store opened its doors to customers in 2006. The staff, which was 300 at the time, was dedicated to offering free assistance to customers on how to use Apple products. Apple just didn't want this to be another one of their regular outlets. They wanted this store to be a classroom to get into the Apple ecosystem. The store is always open to customers with no hours or days closed. It is the only Apple store with 24/7 and 365 open schedules. This is in line with New York City's infamous nightlife. The legacy at the store's opening, the New York Times reported that the Fifth Avenue Apple Store will burnish the company's reputation for clever design. Other newspapers had a more negative view of the thing. They considered that the store had offered many costly indulgences to its customers that would not be able to generate enough revenue, since half the staff was just there to help teach the customers to use Apple products and not sell Apple products. This notion was proven false after the first year of this store's operation, as this store alone was generating $1 million in sales each day for its first year. The Fifth Avenue Apple Store is also the most photographed landmark in New York City. It is also the fifth most geotagged site in New York City, and 28th the most worldwide. The Apple Store on the Fifth Avenue was geotagged in more photographs than the Statue of Liberty when the store reopened in 2019. An author for Architectural Digest written for many, It's now impossible to imagine the southeast corner of Central Park without it. This is the kind of timeless legacy that the store has garnered for itself these days. The first image that comes to an Apple fan's head when someone talks about an Apple store is the Apple Store on the Fifth Avenue. The store and its unique architecture has become synonymous with the Apple brand itself. Fifth Avenue store was so inspiring that it would later inspire store designs for other Apple stores in the U.S., include the Apple Walnut Street store in Philadelphia and Apple Upper West Side store in New York City. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, Simply Tech Hub, and hit the bell icon for more videos.